What's up guys, this is James First, and welcome back to more Let's Play Danganronpa. Trigger Havoc. Last time we were voted out in the last class trial, but we didn't get executed. We were saved by Alter Ego, and today we're gonna find a way out of this place. But first, let's look around a bit. We have this rocket here, and there's actually a tank in here. There's over here an airplane. It's Hope's Peak. Try not to think too much about it. It's locked. No matter how many times I pushed or pulled or kicked at it, it didn't budge. Getting out of here isn't going to be that easy. Well, if I'm not getting out of here anytime soon, I decided to look around for some food. There's plenty of food here, but it's all rotten. But that was pointless too. Next, I searched for some water. How can I be sure which liquids I can drink and which ones are all around a bad idea? Again, pointless. I feel like I'm blocked on all sides. But that's still not enough reason to give up because I'm still alive. As long as I'm alive, I'll never give up. After making that plowed declaration, the next thing I decided to do was go to sleep. My sleep was deep and uninterrupted. That was my only way to preserve what little strength I have left after not being able to eat or drink. I can't be sure, but I think at least a full day had to pass. And all I did was sleep and sleep. It was like I was waiting for some kind of sign to come falling out of the sky. However, what fell from the sky wasn't a sign, not exactly. What the? The strange sound pierced my silent isolation, jarring me awake. As I watched, the pile of garbage jostled and formed an odd shape. Did something fall down over there? Something fell from above. What could that have been? Did a giant piece of trash just fall down here? I carefully stretched my hand out toward whatever it was and tumbled down here with me.
Just a second.
A giant piece of trash? Rude. Before she even emerged from the pile of garbage, I knew who it was.
It smells awful.
This place smells awful. Kyoko,
Indeed.
you look like you're doing better than I expected. Well, what are you doing here?
So...
Isn't it obvious? I'm here to help you. I'm glad to hear that, Kyoko. You got a bit of garbage in your hair. She gave her head a quick, sharp shake to get rid of the trash, then faced me again.
Hey.
First, I have something for you. Go ahead and eat it. We could talk once you're finished. Thank you. I snatched the bread and water she was holding out for me, within seconds in my mouth, making its way towards my stomach. Ooh, that really hit the spot. Now I got all the energy I need to keep going. So you still haven't given up then? Of course not. After all, the fact I can keep going forward is about all I'm good at. Well, that's not such a bad thing to be good at. But Kyoko, why'd you come to rescue me?
So...
To pay a debt, or no, to atone. Atone.
You...
During the trial, even though you knew I was lying, you didn't say anything. So you knew that I knew.
Indeed.
But even though I knew, I did nothing to help you. I abandoned you. Don't say that, you didn't abandon me. No, that's exactly what I did. I abandoned you in order to save my own life. You were trying to save me, and I couldn't bring myself to do the same for you.
However...
But listen, not that I'm trying to make excuses, but there was a reason I had to survive, no matter the cost. What did you have to survive?
It's true.
I'll tell you everything. The reason I have to survive.
In other words...
I can do what I came to the school to do. What? I made up my mind to come to Hope's Peak Academy for one very important reason.
Indeed.
Once. Until recently, I forgot what it was. You forgot, but that's... Then, is it really true? You lost your memory?
Makoto.
Do you remember Makoto? Do you remember the first thing that happened to each of us as soon as we arrived at the school? The first thing. You're talking about when we fainted, right? I fainted, and when I woke up I was trapped here.
That's right.
I fainted too, and when I woke up, I noticed a strange feeling of separation within myself, a disconnect.
It would seem...
Thinking back on it now, at that point my memory was gone. At that time I'd forgotten. I couldn't remember why I'd come to the school, and I couldn't remember what my ultimate ability is. But what would make you forget all that?
Hey.
Strange, isn't it? It's hard to imagine it happened by chance. It seems much too convenient. Are you saying you think you lost your memory because...
Indeed.
I don't think. I'm positive it was the mastermind. But why would they want to do that? There's only one reason I could come up with. Because of my purpose and my ability, somehow they would interfere with the mastermind's plans. So the mastermind just stole them from you?
However...
And it could also mean, somehow my memories may be connected to the mystery of the school and the mastermind. Which is why I have to get them back. That's why I've been investigating things by myself this whole time. But if what you say is true, why didn't you ask the rest of us to help you?
Why is that?
If I did that and we all worked as one, the mastermind would have noticed right away. Plus, there's always a chance that the mastermind is actually one of us. What?
Correct.
Well, don't make too big of a deal out of it. It's just a possibility. But since it is a possibility, we can't ignore it, right? The mastermind, one of us. If she believed that, then of course she couldn't trust anyone around her. In which case it only makes sense that she would look into the missing memory by herself.
However...
That being said, there was a limit to what I could do by myself, which is why I asked you to help me. But why me? Because among everyone, you were the least likely to be the mastermind. That was just intuition, but... I see. Your intuition was right though. There's no way an ordinary kid like me could have been the mastermind.
I understand. I should understand everything. My goal isn't to get out of here. It's to stay here.
It's just like the dream I had before, but why did that just happen?
Listen.
Are you okay? Oh, yeah, it's nothing. It is nothing, right?
Hey.
Even now, I still trust you, you know? It's just, I'm not used to relying on others.
Correct.
I know I never asked you for your help right away, so I understand if you're convinced. Honestly, I was convinced. I think that's just her personality.
So...
I think there's still not a lot I don't remember, but at the very least, I'll finally recall my purpose and my ability. You mentioned your ability. My ability, what everyone should have known me for. I'm the ultimate detective. The ultimate detective.
Correct.
And the reason I came to Hope's Peak Academy, there was someone I had to find here in the school.
So...
Well, it was the headmaster of Hope's Peak Academy. The headmaster? Why did you want to find the headmaster? Because he's my father. What?
In other words...
I was separated from him as a child. As it turns out, he became the headmaster of Hope's Peak. Kyoko's dad. Is Hope's Peak's headmaster? Then that explains. An alter ego told us how he thought the headmaster was involved.
Huh?
No matter what?
So,
My memory hadn't came back at that point, but when he said that, I felt strange. It made perfect sense now, of course, since my whole purpose for coming here was to find him. That makes sense.
However,
But listen, Kyoko, I want to make this perfectly clear so there's no misunderstanding. I said the headmaster wasn't the mastermind, but I didn't say that to protect him. I only said what I felt based on what I seen when I snuck into the headmaster's room. Then, what did you see in there?
so
The room had been ransacked. The shelves were a mess, the desk drawers dumped on the floor. The only conclusion is that someone who didn't know where anything was had been in there.
it's true.
That was my assumption, yes, and to confirm my suspicion, I decided to investigate the second floor of the dorms using the key I'd found. But why there? Because I also found this in the headmaster's room. This is some kind of map.
Indeed.
It's a layout in the entirety of Hope's Peak Academy. I found it in the headmaster's room, along with Mukuro's profile and that key. The map showed that the second floor was home to a number of rooms meant for faculty use. Some of the staff must have had to stay overnight from time to time, and I figured the headmaster would have some kind of private room there. I assumed if that were true, the room would likely hold more clues, so I went to check.
Correct.
And that's when I finally remembered. I remembered that my purpose was to find the owner of that room. So you went there to see if the headmaster really did have a private room there.
However,
But once I noticed that the second floor of the dorms didn't have any cameras or monitors. Whatever's going on in this school is more horrific than we ever imagined. What do you mean?
so
I can't explain it. You need to see it for yourself, and I'm sure you'll get your chance soon enough. It sounds like it must be important, and really ominous.
however,
Which is why I had no idea what was going on in the rest of the building. Yeah, it's to do with Mukuro Ikusaba, doesn't
however,
it? Just to be perfectly clear, I didn't kill her. And I know it wasn't you either. I know you're right, but that just means everyone but you and me had an alibi, so then who did kill her?
anyway,
What can I say for sure is that the mastermind is directly involved. To begin with, the point of the class trial of Mukuro Ikusaba was to get me killed. Get you killed.
indeed.
I stole that key and disappeared, and in retaliation, they wanted to drown me out and eliminate me.
Correct.
That was the point of the class trial. It was. The mastermind knew they couldn't interfere directly. You mean because of the school regulations?
That's right. In other words,
The mastermind was adamant about following the rules, and with that rule in place, they couldn't step in. And since they couldn't kill me themselves, they tried to use the class trial to do it. The mastermind couldn't step in because of the rules. That makes it sound like the mastermind themselves is somehow bound by the school regulations.
hey,
There's one thing I'd like to point out about the murder of Mukuro Ikusaba. What's that? There was a point where Mukuro may not have become the victim. It could have been you, Makoto. I could have become the victim?
indeed.
You know what I'm talking about, right? Do you mean during the night? I can hear them, you know? The footsteps of the god of death. What? I can hear the god of death as he moves. The ability naturally draws me to cases, just like this,
Anyway,
which is exactly what happened to you. I was in the dorms and I had a sudden sense of dread. I looked down the stairwell, and I saw a white shadow cross the corridor. I gave chase right away. As I followed it, I saw the shadow go into your room.
correct.
I ran into your room and saw what was happening. I intervened immediately, of course.
However,
That wasn't the end of things, of course. I stopped it, but that led to whoever the mass assailant was. They ended up dead.
correct.
and their murder was disguised, and the dojo key wound up in my room. All of it has to be the work of the mastermind, in an attempt to use the class trial to eliminate me.
Indeed.
The mastermind wanted to use the class trial to try and kill you because they couldn't interfere, right?
Correct.
You're right, that is a contradiction. And it's not just Mukuro. They need the class trial to kill me, but they seem ready to kill you in your room. Everything they did is a contradiction. So, what does it all mean?
In other words,
It means that the mastermind is the one who's been cornered. Huh?
Makoto.
Just a little more. A little more and I should be able to figure out the mastermind's identity. The mastermind of the utter ultimate despair. The utter ultimate despair? There's no doubt that Mukuro was the ultimate despair, and that she's dead. But I don't think the ultimate despair is just one person. It's not.
Indeed.
If you think about it, the ultimate despair seems to implicate whoever caused that event. You're
That's
talking
right.
about what happened a year ago, the biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history. The tragedy, whoever's responsible for that, they're the ultimate
It would
despair?
seem-
That despicable group whose only purpose and motivation comes from despair. Then
Indeed.
they're, make no mistake, they're the root of all evil that has forced us to go through this. That is the ultimate despair. And that is our real enemy.